Hey everybody, it's Carla Clayton, the Wellness Lady, and welcome to Wellness Lady TV, where I help busy professionals like you create a healthier life, home, and business. Today, my guest is Deb Luther. She's a dear friend of mine, and she is the owner of lovemyhealthylife.com. And I cannot wait to dig into your story, Deb. But first, tell us, what does wellness mean to you?
To me, wellness means being free of disease, free of illness, but even more in a wholesome way as far as, mind and body and spirit and, just in being in a state of peace and, prosperity and just wellness, just is so all encompassing. It's a big
word. It means so much. I mean, to some people, it means fitness. To other people, it means nutrition. To other people, it's spirituality.
Yeah.
So it can be so many, many things.
Right.
So, Deb, tell us just a little bit about who you are.
So I am 57. I always have to do the math, but I think that's the current number. And I have been married for 32 years or so, and to my husband, Scott, and we have 3 kids, grown children, Charlie, Jules, and Lexi. And Charlie got married 2 years ago, so I have a daughter-in-law, so our family is expanding a little bit. And I've also been a court reporter since I was just a young thing. And I have my wellness business because that's just near and dear to my heart. And that's pretty much.
That's it. Well, it sounds like you're very busy.
Yeah. Yes, I know we can all claim to busyness. So I think that's a good thing, to have lots of things going on in life. And I'm guilty of that as well.
Yeah. So Deb, you and I met well over 25 years ago. Yeah. Through basically through this wellness journey. We were both on the same path. We had some common friends, and we were introduced to a company and some products that we were both using. And that's how we met. And you actually initially were a customer of mine through my wellness business. Right. And we maintained a relationship for a number of years. I called you, did my follow-ups with you.
You were excellent at that.
Yeah. And you were one of my best customers.
Yes.
When I was doing this very part-time. And then, it's funny how this synergy, everything came together at the perfect timing for you and I. Right. For a life transition that I was going through, and a transition that you were going through at the same time. And for me, that is when I was leaving my corporate wellness job to expand this business, my Wellness Lady business, to help and coach people to living a healthier life. And a component of that I was specializing in at that time was weight loss. And
I think that was your first major customer, right?
You were my very first weight loss coaching client when I got involved in, because see, for me, I was working at a wellness center that was a fitness center, a hospital-based fitness center. And I was so torn there because the only piece that we were really delivering was the exercise part. But yet I knew, because I had my part-time interest in this business, is how important that nutrition and diet and mindset, all of that goes into Absolutely. Losing weight. And I wasn't free to share this part of my business because they felt like it was a conflict of interest, because I would make some money and help people. So go figure. But so anyway, I made that decision that I was passionate enough about it that I felt like people needed to know the full story. And so that's when I left that job And at that very moment, I think it was like in the same week, I got a phone call from you. And, but before we talk about that phone call, I'd like you to, because we named this talk today, The Truth About Losing Weight After 50. And so I want you to talk about where you were. You were just turning 50 and you called me up and you told me, here's the change I need to make.
So, so what had happened is, let me back up a minute and say, I had been overweight all my life. I had been taking Shaklee vitamins for 25 years. So in reality, my blood work numbers were pretty good. I didn't have any, for as, overweight as I was, it's quite likely. I remember my mom worrying more than once about, you're going to get diabetes, or, you need to do something. And it's really hard. I had tried so many different diets. You name it, I'd tried it. And I was successful many times, but each and every single time I regained the weight plus more every time. And, and I had tried all of them, and I won't even name them because we all know what they are. Right. So, but I had just turned 50, and I was at that point in my life looking at my husband's parents, who were a little older than my parents. And, I just, was picturing my future and how it was going to be. Like already, when you're a significant weight, things are, you can't live the full life that you're meant to live. And so, you have to make changes. I was treated differently. I was, I feel like I had really super great friends, but, strangers frown upon you and just don't treat you the same. And it was painful to exist that way. Plus, I ended up behind the camera and, trying to just observe life instead of living it. And I think that was a lot of it for me. So I forgot where we are.
Well, I just want to expand a little bit more on that. So you're one of the things that you said that you wouldn't do is, like, your husband loves to ride
motorcycles.
And they do an annual trip in the mountains and these things, and you were left out.
Yeah, I didn't get on his bike, and I didn't, it was just, that was too tippy. I remember a roller skating party for one of my kids when they were 8. And I couldn't, I remember as a kid loving to roller skate, but as an adult and just being so that my balance was off. It was crazy just being on roller skates. I couldn't even skate. I went around the rink and I'm like, whoa, this is just tippy and weird. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch you. And it's just a bad thing not to participate with special things like that with kids. So, even Disney, I couldn't fit in seats. I didn't fly anywhere because, again, it's like sitting in a vice, even at work sometimes on certain conference room chairs. Again, it's just, it's an embarrassing thing. So. And
so you were also dealing, with, not feeling good about yourself and just like a low level of, not being happy, and
that's right.
Those types of things. So you picked up the phone and you called me. What prompted that call, and what was different?
So I get, it's just a culmination of everything. And I needed vitamins, and I went on to the Shaklee site to put my order in, and there was a promo for the 180 program. And I thought, I'm just going to do that. Now, mind you, you don't know how many times I've done all of this stuff before. I've done it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. And it was a 3-month plan, actually 4 months. And so I thought, that's it. I don't care how much this costs. Whatever it is, I'm going to do it. And I loved how it came to me. I called you up and I said, I just ordered this kit and it's going to be for 3 to 4 months, but it was whatever it was. And I'm going to do it. And you said, okay. So it was so the timing of this was late October. It was right before Halloween. And I remember I started my journey on November 1st of that year. So look at that. Halloween, I think I had started, just that week before, for giving up the Halloween candy, which is in the house. And then here comes Thanksgiving, and here comes Christmas. And I live in a family that, just like probably lots of families, it's always focused around food and lots of it. And I started that program and I just made a decision. I'm like, that's it. I was afraid of what my future was going to be at that weight. And I thought, I can't. So I made that decision. That's the whole thing right there, making a decision and sticking with it. And I did. And nothing tempted me because of my mindset. I really feel it. It was just easy. It was easy to say no to all that. I said no to alcohol. I said no to candy, no to donuts, no to all of it. I didn't want it. I was just determined. And that determination paid off. So I was able to lose 34 pounds, I think, in the first 3 months. I called you, or you called me every week. We checked in. I kept a little chart of, I did my measurements. I took my pictures. You've seen that picture. So I just kept going, and we did it. It was just really, oh, there it is.
We have to show this. We have to show this picture, because your before picture really shows how you felt. And I remember asking you to do this. I said, Deb, please take a before picture. And you're like, I don't want to. I don't want to be in a picture. And I said, but you will need to look back at this as you make this progress to see how far you've come. And look at that. Look at that. So that's at when you reached the 105-pound mark. And that was in March of 2014. And I have to say, what a huge accomplishment, and what an honor and a privilege for me to get to work with someone like you who made a decision. And I love it. That is the truth about losing weight, whatever age you are, is number one, you have to make the decision and have the mindset to do it. The second thing that you need is you need a program, a full-on program that's going to help you deal with right. Cravings, going to deal with meal planning, going to deal with exercise, mindset, and you need a coach. Would you agree you need a coach to do something like this, Deb?
Yeah, because there are ups and downs, and the 180 program was beautiful because it was a box. It was just like, just do this. Mm-hmm. And, and then a couple little healthy snacks, and then a sensible meal, like salad with grilled chicken on it. That was my favorite go-to because it was easy and I couldn't, I didn't mess it up. And that was, I love the kit because it eliminates the extra decisions that, make it harder. Thinking about food all the time is a struggle. Like now, even, like I tell my husband, I think about food in the morning because I'm trying to plan dinner or what we're going to do. And, so you have to defrost or, just plan ahead and make sure you have what you need. And I loved not having to go through all that struggle about that. So,
right. So let's talk a little bit about the Shaklee 180 program. As I said, it's all inclusive with you get your wellness coach, your distributor. You
right.
get 2 meals a day come in your kit,
yes.
snacks. You get a
yes.
product called a metabolic booster, which boosts your metabolism and reduces your cravings. And you get these wonderful
yes.
energy teas, because a lot of people do a lot of energy drinks or too much coffee. Not that coffee in itself is bad, but it can be if you're having too much or adding too much goodies to it. And so it's this full program that eliminates 2/3 of the decisions that you have to make in a day. And all you have to do is plan one meal, one healthy meal. And we even give you the meal plans for that meal.
Yes.
And so,
Right.
so Deb, you had this incredible experience. You lost over, it was like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
You were recognized by Shaklee as a healthy competition winner. They flew you out to San Francisco, photo shoot, makeup, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got a lot of recognition for such an incredible accomplishment. Now, not everybody's going to lose that amount of weight. But what I love about your story is there's so many pieces of your story. Is one, that decision. But I want to talk a few minutes about in the beginning of the program, the exercise part. Talk to us about that. That was difficult for you to do in the very beginning.
Oh, it was. I remember before I had started this at soccer practice, the ladies would walk around there was a 1.5 mile trail through the woods. And it was really, really nice, marked and stuff. And I remember trying to get to the fields early or late so that I wouldn't have to walk with my dear friends because I couldn't keep up and I didn't want to slow them down. And sorry. So but if I went by myself, then I could stop and rest if I needed to because my back would hurt. So not only could I keep up the pace with them, I mean, I couldn't. So I would just try to finagle it so that I could just walk and get my walking in. So anyway, when I started losing the weight, I just did these videotapes at my house. Mm-hmm. And then I would, I started out doing 1 mile tapes or 2 mile tapes and then built up to 4 or 5 times a week doing 4 mile tapes. And it was amazing how, my body just let me do the things I wanted to do when I finally got some weight off. So.
And then you joined a gym and then you're working out with weights.
Yeah.
And so, then you're running in 5Ks.
Right. That was fun. I did the Peachtree Road race 3 times, I think. And so, the things that I had never done before, that was a lot of fun to actually incorporate. So like, hey, I can do this.
And then you've been on trips with your husband on the bike?
Yeah, do motorcycle trips. And, I went, this is too scary for me, but I did it with my daughters, that zip lining stuff. And, I'm afraid of heights. So that didn't change.
And we travel together once a year for the business conference. We've been doing that the last 6 years. And It's just the transformation that you've made, and to look at you and look at your face and look at that before and after picture. And you can see that the depression, the self-confidence, all of that has lifted.
Yeah. And
then I want to talk a little bit about your lab work, because what happened there?
Yeah, so I started off doing my triglycerides, which is an indicator of the fat in your blood. So that's like a scary thing, right? So my number was like 298 when I was at the beginning, and it went down to, I think, 58. It hovers around, 50s, 60s, 70s, just, it's kind of a floating number. But I've recently gotten all my lab work done, and my blood pressure is normal. I used to be kind of in denial about having to take medication. I didn't want to. But it was a high number. That's all perfect now. And, in a very good, safe, good range, including all my cholesterol numbers. So, I think back to, like I started to say earlier, that all along I've been taking good nutrition with Shaklee, and I really feel like that helped my body be as good as it could be, considering,
Right, because people at that weight typically would have to be on some medications for different
for high blood pressure or for diabetes, pre-diabetes. or whatever, or cholesterol. So, you know, my numbers were pretty good, and I'm really happy about that I'm 57 and on no prescriptions. So I just love the wellness of the Shaklee program. I still do the shakes. I still do 1 or 2 shakes a day. It's my go-to for energy. I feel great with it. I take the life strips also, and I take the stress relief, you know, and other little things, you know, alfalfa. There's other things I take because I love Shaklee, and I think, and I see what good it does for me and for others and for my friends that have trusted me with recommendations. So I do still just love the energy that I get from it. I can't go without a shake. I just can't. It's a daily thing for me.
Me neither. When I do, I really regret it. So let's talk about that. So you transitioned, you lost the weight.
Yep.
And then your friends started noticing, and
yes, and I was able to
yeah,
I was able to help lots of people lose weight, get healthier. And that's kind of my thing now. I'm just on a wellness journey, and I feel like, you know, none of us should diet. And that was the other thing. I never felt like I was dieting. I felt like I was just making good choices for my life. Right. And I had a really added benefit. So, you know, people would say, oh, but it's Christmas, you know, just do this. And I was, you know, trying to say, but no, there's other options. You know, your taste buds change when you give up the bad, you know, full of fat and sugars. I mean, then your taste buds change so that you don't need that. You don't crave it. And in addition, you find that other things are just better for you and make your body function. So, like, you know, I remember someone made me this really, really rich lasagna one time, and I was polite and took a few bites, and immediately, because my body I had just purged of all of that stuff. It wasn't in my plan at all. And so when I took a couple bites of that, I remember getting an upset tummy, and I had to take the Easy Just, which is just like a lifesaver when that happens. But it was interesting how that rich of a food upset me, where in the old days, it was just a thing week in and week out, that rich foods, fatty foods, it was like no big deal. But it's interesting how, yes, you can change with a decision and with a commitment. So, you know, we talked about this as being 50, and, you know, you have the stress of teenagers, of aging parents, of hormones and menopause, and, you know, we recently moved my parents into another place and sized them down, and it's stressful to do all that. So, you know, I have a bad habit, because it's a lifelong habit, of probably indulging with foods or more foods. I still am pretty good about eating clean, I think. I choose a plant-based whole food program. That's what fits me best. That's my choice, to eliminate dairy and meat and oil as much as I can. And I choose that. That's for me, that I feel good and my numbers are good. So, but, you know, to be honest, stress and, you know, not just focusing on me again, like I had done for that good year or a year and a half. I gained a few pounds back, but I'm still so happy. And, you know I'm not going back to where I was, and I can improve. I mean, I'm a project. I'm just trying to be accepting of who I am, and this is me. I'm not a little twig, but, you know, it's still me. And I'm trying to accept myself as just a real person. That's just it.
And you know what I love about what you're doing is you're focused on, what do I need to do to be healthy? And so when I work with clients, that's what I'm looking for. You know, some people come to me and they say, I want to lose weight. And I'm worried about that, because most people, when they're focused on the weight and the scale, they get very discouraged if they don't lose weight and they quit. Whereas somebody who comes like you did and said, look, I'm 50 now. I don't want to be unhealthy as I'm getting older. I want to be healthy. I want to be medication free as long as possible. And so when you have that focus and that mindset, you're more likely to be successful. And, you know, I love that about you, because you are super coachable, and you still are very coachable, and you're a great coach because you've been through that experience. And so I want to share a little example of how coaching helps when you're in a program like this.
Right.
And then I want to share with people how they can reach you, reach me, if they want to get on a healthy journey. And so I want to talk about, in your program, some of the challenges that you had. I mean, did you have weeks where you weren't losing weight, and how did you feel, and those kind of things?
Yeah. So I had, like I said, I had my little notebook that I wrote down my measurements, and I would probably measure every month or so, and I would weigh every week, and I'd report to you what was going on. And I remember more than once, probably 3 months in, because, you know, when you have that much to lose, you lose fast at the beginning. Like, I think it was 30 some pounds the first 3 months. And so, you know, then it starts to peter down, you know, slow down just a little bit. And I would call you and say, okay, Carla, I don't know what's going on, but I have not cheated. I have followed this program consistently. I've increased my, you know, exercise. And that's why going through this, I think, is so important, because it allows me to help others. And I remember calling you and saying, I didn't cheat. I mean, I'm sure you don't believe me, but I stuck to this plan. I'm committed. And so I remember you telling me, just say, you know, have you measured lately? And I said, well, no, I think it's been 3 weeks since I've done that. So you told me, go ahead and measure, just see what it says. Oh my gosh, I was blown away. I think from the last time I had measured, at that point, I had lost another 1.5 inches out of my waist. And I was just like, wow, it is a true fact that the scales lie.
Yes.
And so with our program that is formulated to get rid of fat and retain muscle, which so many other diets, this isn't a diet, so many other programs, you know, that yo-yo dieting gets you into a situation where you are losing muscle. And
Right.
with Shaklee, that's not happening. So it's just amazing. And losing that weight is losing the fat and losing the inches, even though the scale doesn't show it. Numbers don't lie, as far as, I mean, the scales lie, but, you know, my blood work is all good. And that tape measure, that's what you pull out when you're frustrated.
Right. I tell clients, you know, don't even look at the scale seriously. And if you are, there's a method to when and how you measure and do your scale, because in one day, I mean, I can get on the scale in the morning into the night, and there's a 5-pound difference. There's a reason for that. But that's why the tape measure measures fat loss. And so that's where we want to go. So Deb, if people want to reach out to you and have a conversation and find out what is involved in doing a Shaklee 180 with you, how can they reach you?
So you can find me on Facebook. I think we'll put the links before. I'm on Instagram at Healthier Deb, and I'm on my Love My Healthy Life Facebook business page, just to, you know, I try to put my Shaklee stuff in there instead of on my personal page. But please message me or reach out, and I'm happy to pass along what's been shared with me. So I think it's important, you know, little successes make a lot of difference.
And also we have a community called the Get Healthy with Smart Choices. You were talking about how we're making smarter choices for ourselves and getting healthy. So we do have a private online group that you can message us to get an invite. That's an exclusive group that we run. And we run 5-day challenges, like we're doing green smoothie challenges, hydration challenges, 7-day cleanses, and things like that to help keep you motivated, involved, inspired, so that you can have a healthy journey like Deb has had. So we want to thank you so much for tuning into Wellness Lady TV today. If you like the content today, be sure to like this page, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you get notifications. Visit my website at wellnesslady.com. And we'll see you next week at Tuesday at 12 for Wellness Lady TV Live on Facebook. Bye-bye now.
Bye. Thank you.